Right now, I often say this, citizens, I want to blow up these phone lines for this next pioneer that's about to join us. One of my favorite MCs of all time, only because when he came out, I didn't know anyone that sounded like him, that approached writing like him, that kind of dissected the pocket as a rapper like he has, and has the kind of vocal tone that he has. HB. Um, since the Organized Confusion album came back way back in the early '90s to now, he's been consistent. I mean, he's made hits that's charted, but he's been consistent to who he is throughout the whole process. I want to welcome him. I'm talking about, before we bring him up, the one and only Pharoahe Monch from Organized Confusion. Come on, man. Formerly of
Last time I
Organized
saw him, he
Confusion.
was ripping down my stage at Sound Set in Minnesota, Sway.
I heard you told me he left splinters in the stage. Some of the young dudes got splinters in their foot.
Boom, 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 boom.
He ripped it so bad. Last time he freestyled on our show, I want to say, no, actually, I'm going to take you way back to 1996. Here's Pharoahe Monch on the world-famous Wake Up Show with Sway and Tech. 888-742-3345. Call us.
It's on you to flip the lyrics. Check it out. From the east to the west, Queens to LA. Check it out. We're going to represent like this. This is Pharoahe Monch. What? One time. Check it out now. What? Check it out. Yo. Always beginning them, forever blending them, bending them again and again, sending them back, lending them loot at minimum wages, subliminally befriending them for criminal activity. Mics chop like Florida State Seminoles with criminal facts. Similar, actually, I piss on your promotional wax. It'll be tight. Riddle be this. What way sees the nicest? Just because he got rhyme at a month 3 times and 4 mic devices. The gem star blade, my slices. Rip, shred, chop, some dices. Vehicular rap, ridiculous, particularly when articulating, creating Pulitzer Prize type articles, little pieces and particles released. Rap chronicles, the abominable rap, professional, phenomenal stat. Plus keep you open off the ways of the IBs. When to this track, panicking. MCs, they sorta stand stiff in the crowd like mannequins while I'm examining fire, floods, and famine. Y'all rambling on about materialistic cool that you cop from the devil. We way underground hip-hop, you can get not on our level. Sure, you need to cop a shovel and dig it. If your motto was pop a bottle, well, I'm a rattle to follow along and you squig it. 9 times out of 10, you still won't get it like that, Anna.
Oh, man, one of the illest to ever pick up the mic, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Pharoahe Monch is here.
Yes.
Welcome, King.
Hey, Pharoahe, I listen, man. I like doing that. I like to show the consistency, man. We got Heather B and Tracy G with us, Pharoahe, as well, man.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? Love.
Doing great. We was just saying how the last time I saw you, Monch, was on stage. You was ripping down the stage in Minnesota at the Soundset Music Festival. Shout out to Fifth Element. Shout out to that entire crew out there. You was out there killing it, man. People showed you a lot of love. It was dope.
It was amazing, man. And think about that. Think about how many people were out there, like 60,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's based on what we're going through right now. It's insane
Crazy.
to think about.
It's crazy, man. Pharoahe Monch, man, congratulations with the th1rt3en project. I want to talk about that because it's interesting as I listen to, like, Fight and, you know, some of the things you guys are doing. I was watching some of the postings you put on your IG, and I can't think of the drummer who was demonstrating.
Daru Jones.
Yeah, Daru. There you go. Daru Jones was demonstrating some of the beats that you guys chose to use. Pharoahe, HB, I don't know if people realize how much you produce your own music. Like you and Prince Poe were producing actually when the first album came out, correct?
Yeah, definitely, man. It was a part of the culture back then. Like, you know, coming up, you had to kind of make your own beats back then. We came up through the demo with the legendary Paul C. Rest in peace, out of
Rest
Queens.
in power, yeah.
And we lost that brother, and so we would kind of just thrust it into the whole thing and had to wing it, which is kind of why that first album is so experimental, because we were like, you know, we were just getting on the SB 1200 and all that for the first time, so we were like going to the studio just winging it, and it kind of worked out to our benefit because you know, we explored more on the lyricism side and pushed the envelope that way. So it was a beautiful thing in the end.
You guys, that first album was how we got to know each other because we were playing. When you think about when that album came out, you had Low End Theory came out. You had De La Soul is Dead. I think Black Sheep album came out. Ice Cube had Death Certificate.
Crazy.
Delta Funky Homo Sapien had I Wish My Brother George Was Here. You know, all of these different people came out at the same time. Man, y'all made a gospel rap record.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you think about the names you just said, everybody had their own flavor then with different production, and it was inspiring, you know, because I was also fans of everything and all the groups you just said. So I was still building my voice and taking from that stuff too. So one thing you had to do coming through the culture is not be a biter, try to be original, and implement, you know, your truth. One of the truth was coming out of Southside. It was crazy hood, but at the same time, we were like church kids and, you know, comic book kids and like in the projects as well. So we thought doing a gospel record would be dope to implement, and seeing how nobody really touched on that. So we just brought the choir in and tried to flip it.
And Open Your Eyes is something, bro, we play on this show to this day.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Pharoahe Monch is here. We're going to talk about the new project, which is called th1rt3en. A Magnificent Day for an Exorcism is due out January 22nd. Usually when people see the word exorcism in a title, we get scared and shy away from it. You want to give us some explanation of that title?
I mean, it's really self-explanatory in today's society. I just feel like, you know, we need to atone and we need to move on from the atrocities and the foundation in which this whole thing was built on. And I'm approaching the record like, what better way to do that than to have sort of a exorcism of these demons and, you know, the things that we've been going through for all these years that feel like they've been there and have been there since the beginning. I just wanted to use that kind of vibe, yeah, to kind of scare people into paying attention, but to also deal with it like even on an individual level, whatever demons you may be going through or, you know, exterior, we need to face that, have that conversation, and deal with it head on. And this album is like, you know, attacking that in an aggressive, hardcore, hip-hop and rock way. That's it.
I feel like you've done this before. Well, not the same project. Not you haven't done the same project, but you've always approached music differently, you know, head on, and to make sure hip-hop isn't being done the same way. From all your group albums and even your personal albums, Internal Affairs, Desire, War, PTSD, which you came up on the show and promoted that one. These projects don't necessarily, they'll get you critical acclaim, HB, but they don't get you necessarily mainstream success. You know what I mean? Right. And so how do you sustain from a business perspective, Pharoahe Monch? How can someone like Pharoahe Monch, whose first album came out in 1991, still be above ground making music? Like, what's been the trick for you?
Oh man, it's a beautiful thing. Like the last 2 years, and it's kind of awkward to say this during these times, has probably been my most successful monetarily. Just getting back ownership of some of the music and some of the masters, as well as touring before all of this happened. And just trying to make music where you it comes off like one of one. It's not like approaching a record. I don't know what it takes to garner commercial success and what you would have to do to get that and the way you would need to be greenlighted. The approach has really been to like put out these records that kind of stand off and stand out in the corner. So when you do hear it, it's distinctive. You know, Guy Route, my manager, always says like, we're boutique with it. We were never trying to be McDonald's over the last 4 records We're trying to be that cool cupcake shop where people come to, your town. Everybody directs people to that specific spot. And so that specific spot stays afloat and gets supported in the neighborhood of, let's say, the neighborhood of hip-hop throughout the duration. So just trying to stay boutique with it, man,
Trying to stay, but what do you think of that, HB? Trying to stay
Magnolias. He talking like a Magnolias. You know what I mean? It ain't a factory. It's just you got it. When you come here, you get this. You can only get this here.
Exactly.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Pharoahe, this is Tracy, of if this mindset is nurture or nature, because so many people, although, yes, having wealth is dope, it's exceptional, but really it doesn't matter to them unless they have fame, and that addictive quality of fame is what leads people to constantly pursue commercial success. And so I'm wondering how the fame bug didn't bite you, where you never were tempted to chase it. Like, is it something that was instilled within you when you were younger? Did you witness how fame changed someone, like, negatively, and that just kind of put you on course to say, nah? How did you evade fame?
I think a big portion of it is the culmination of all the things that from the beginning, when I got into this, it was really cultural. Like, I came in through the graffiti and the breaking and the b-boying and the style and the DJing. So culturally, it was just like, I didn't want to disrespect. I wanted to add on to the culture because we felt like something was building, or it looked like, as to me, kids had made. So in the beginning, it was definitely about gaining the respect of the Big Daddy Kanes and the G-Raps, the Rakims, and, so it really wasn't about exploding and blowing up in that way. I did get a taste how different records with Organized Confusion and the Internal Affairs and the Simon Says and all of that on that side, and it was a beautiful thing. But I thought for me it would be best to stay consistent, kind of in the tradition and in the culture, and just stay creative, because the trends are always changing, and I'm not the type to try to chase what's happening in the moment, per se. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because Internal Affairs before it came through had the sampling issues, was almost just short of a top 40 debut. What changes? What did you notice? Like, by the time Internal Affairs came out, you had already been out in the game 8 years or so or more, and then when you start seeing your music chart, like, what physically, how does the business change towards you? Did you start seeing doors open up? People became friendlier. What were the changes as you became?
All of that, man. All of that, and it was a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna speak negatively about it. Like, those doors that open up, I got to learn so much from those experiences, and I got to see what I didn't like, what I loved about it. I was able to see that corporate controls a lot in terms of the direction that your career may go. And I just, after that album and being on Raucous and then doing another major deal, I just decided to slide in the independent side and have more control over my career, rather than, trying to sign with the corporate situation and trying to get green lighted to get pushed through in the way that you need to be. To play those type of games, and the marketing that you need to play those type of games, like I said, I tried to slide the assets back to the boutique and just the smaller thing where I could control more of what I was doing, as well as masters, as well as ownership.
You rap, which I think is incredible, and I think it's smart, and it's paid off for you in the long run. You know, you played the long game. That's what we all play, the long game.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been
Exactly.
here a long time.
The truth will make you
Come on,
laugh.
man. Come on, man. We gotta laugh at this shit, HB, because you know
Mm-hmm.
we used to throw concerts and push for organized confusion to come be on our stage, and to see this now as adults and we still healthy and we still making it. It's great. One of the things I always said, Pharaoh, is like, you're one of my favorite MCs, because I never could guess what's next. I didn't know how your next pattern was gonna come out, and the way you used to just really trip, the way you always have been really acrobatic in the pocket. You rap with a lot of greats, from Mos Def to Raz
Mm-hmm.
Kaz to whoever, Pete Rock, whoever you name them. You know, Nate Dogg, the whole nine. Hey man, have you ever been in the studio with a MC that you always saw as, you always respected, but as MCs in our heart, it's always, I wonder what it'd be like if I was in the ring with this dude. Have you ever had one of those studio sessions where you found yourself there with somebody you admired as an MC, but also wanted to kind of do that dance with?
Not really, man. Like everybody I invited in on my projects was there because they were capable of outshining, and you wanted them there to be specifically a star at the end of the song. When I say outshine, you want them to be the star of the record. That's why you invite in a Fonte and a Busta Rhymes and a MOP. You want them to make the record take off at the end. So for me, you know, I wouldn't even be inviting you in to be on the song if I didn't think you were of that caliber to take it to the next level. So I always admired the dudes and was a fan of and wanted the energy of the dudes who I brought in to be on the records with me, you know?
Mos Def, Fonte, MOP. What is it like? Like, what did you learn from them dudes differently in recording? Like, how does MOP record, Heather? Do they write it? Do they write in the studio? Like, what
Wow.
is it?
Yeah, they write in the studio, but it's a totally different. For me, when we recorded the Marcana joint, we were in D&D Studios. The world famous D&D Studios is no longer there, but they Billy sort of went and shot pool for a little while, and Fame went into a whole different studio. I wrote in the room that we actually recorded in. Somehow the way those two work, they had two separate verses, and they came back with each other's lines to fill in, because they sort of have that Run DMC kind of back and forth thing. It was amazing to watch. Like
it's
it
the
was
most incredible. It's the most
Yes.
incredible thing to experience.
Yes.
To watch those dudes.
Watch
It's
those
a
two in particular.
craftsmanship that I've never seen before.
Absolutely, Pharaoh. Absolutely. I agree with you. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Never, because they didn't sit in the room and write the verses together. They were in two separate studios from the start of the song to the beginning, while Kenny Parker did the track. And when they came back with those verses, I couldn't believe it. And they asked me, they was like, say this line. I couldn't even do it because I didn't understand the concept. I was like, how do you write like that? It was incredible. The craftsmanship, to your point.
Yeah.
Yes. Amazing.
Pharoahe Monch is here. We're talking about the album A Magnificent Day for an Exorcism. Marcus Machado, Daru Jones, Pharoahe Monch. 13 is the project. That's the collaborative project. We got J Dog on the line. J Dog in LA. What up, J Dog?
What's happening? It's unbelievable that I actually made it through the airwaves to connect with you guys. It's a tremendous honor.
Absolutely, brother.
And it's unbelievable that I'm actually talking to Pharoahe Monch right now, if he'll take my question. Really quick, I'm definitely going to cop that album, without a question. But Pharoahe, quick question. The Extinction Agenda is my top 5 favorite of all time. I live with that album, and I've been looking for it on iTunes. Cannot find it. Is there a way that will ever come back and be able to be downloaded?
Yes, sir. We are representing that album 2021. It's going to be available on all platforms. We will be releasing it, and we're putting it up available for the first time digitally on all platforms. And I'm very, very proud talking to Prince Poe about that as well, because more so than anything else, people hit me up about, you know, the catalog, because it's not available digitally. So for the first time, to answer your question, it will be available on all streaming platforms 2021.
There you go. Round of applause for that. J-Dog, you see what you're getting? That's your holiday present, J-Dog. You're a citizen.
A Sway in the morning.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. And so with that said, that Prince Poe and you are communicating on what level? Like, how are y'all right now? How's the dynamic between Prince Poe and you?
Amazing, man. We've been talking about our catalog and just how we want to let it resurface and bring it to the forefront, and, you know, doing special things with it and treating it like the history it is and what it deserves to be, and you know, doing the homework on it. And like I said, putting it out there in a really cool way. And Prince is in Denver right now. He's working on music, and he's chilling, and he's enjoying his life. And we speak like once a week.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. That doesn't mean. I mean, you're always going to be organized confusion, but that doesn't necessarily mean the group will be active again. It's just that two human beings came together who share this common legacy, or will the group be active again?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's working on music. I'm working on music. We talked about, we talked about doing something, a couple of joints for the new release, but, you know, nothing extensive, and just paying homage and respect to the work that we did already, to be honest, and doing it in the right way. We did anniversary shows and all of that stuff before the pandemic hit, so it's all good, man.
It's all good. Good to know. I like that.
Yeah.
All good in the hood.
Yes.
One last question. Arson from Philly. Grand Risings, Arson.
Arson, what's poppin'?
Yeah, what's good, y'all? Monch, what's the deal, man? Representing Gangsta Grass out here on the East Coast. Fiona Bloom says, what's up? I got a question, man. I'm wondering, because, you know, it's been documented for years about your asthma, and how were you able to overcome that and really be able to spit the way you do? Because I saw you at South by Southwest in 2012, and you just tore it to pieces, and it didn't look like it was even an the slightest of effort to what you were doing. Like, how are you able to just overcome that and be able to spit the way you do, man?
Well, one, man, after a certain time, you know, in life, you got to put your health first. And I was a chronic asthmatic. I still deal with the issue, but I changed my diet completely. I've been working out and was working out like a beast during that time that you're talking about, to mainly for the breathing, because I was depending on touring for my livelihood. So I had to be on point. And, you know, and that's the beautiful thing. I was listening to the show. I heard Busta up here talking about the same thing, and it really touched my heart that he's changed his diet and he's getting his health together as well. And you have to do it, man, especially if you're that top tier or high-end type of performer. When you hit the stage, you need that breath control. So it's the lifestyle change that I had to make years ago. And also when I have a gig, I prep it like it's the Super Bowl or game time. So 48 hours, 24 hours before a gig like that, I'm like, you know, I'm prepping, I'm stretching, I'm drinking the water, I'm doing what I got to do, because I hate to cheat the people, and I try and time it like game time. Right up until the point I touch the stage, you know, you're doing what you need to do to prepare to hit stage.
Hey, man, that's the part of the game people don't hear about. You know what I mean? They just see you on stage. They don't know what it took for you to get there.
Exactly.
Only the finished product, not the process.
Not the process. And even in these times, I'm sure you were really concerned in terms of these COVID times, but you put a lot of work in, right? So you knew your body was as best as it could be during these times.
Exactly, man. Even 6 months of this, I was so diligent, you know, like, yo, again, this is my livelihood. If we come out on the other side of this, I can't jeopardize that. So I was shook, like, you know, special care, like not going anywhere, you know what I mean? Now I'm outside doing the walking and you know, got this new record coming. Hopefully, you know, in the future we'll be to stages again. Keeping that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Hey, man, it's the legendary, iconic Pharoahe Monch. Got a new project. It's called th1rt3en. It'll be out January 26th. The collaborative